Well, moments ago, the House passed a massive $1.3 trillion spending bill, with the Senate expected to vote on it tonight. The goal is to get this to the president's desk before tomorrow's deadline, and that could prevent another government shutdown. Or not. We'll see. Not everyone is happy with this plan, with the House Freedom Caucus calling on President Trump to veto the bill. This is what they wrote in a letter to the president. "We urge you to remember the countless forgotten men and women of America who place their faith in you to change business as usual in Washington, D.C. We urge you to join us and reject this omnibus." Well, the White House says Trump will sign the bill, despite not getting much of what he asked for. Joining me now, Republican Congressman French Hill of Arkansas. Good to see you, Congressman.
Hey, Lauren, thanks for having me.
Why did you vote yes on this bill?
I voted yes on this bill because Mr. Trump wanted to rebuild our military. That's the whole focus here. We've got the first pay raise for our men and women in uniform in 8 years. And President Trump, when he got into office, said, that's the first thing I want to do, is our biggest, most important constitutional duty to defend the homeland and defend our interests abroad. And that's why I voted yes.
There was nothing done on DACA, nothing done for Dreamers, but there was a win for the border wall, correct?
There was. There's about 100 miles of additional border security in this bill. New judges, over 100 new immigration judges on the border to adjudicate people who are there illegally. So there were some wins on both Homeland Security and a big one on national defense.
But how do you reconcile the different Republican points of view on this? Because you have Speaker Paul Ryan saying, look, the GOP House passed all of these bills back in September, and we asked for 74 miles of border wall funding. We did 100 in this bill. Yet you have Jim Jordan, the House Freedom Caucus, the co-founder, saying this is the worst bill I've seen in my 10 years in Congress. How do you justify the two different Republican points of view and also control the deficit? Come on, $21 trillion.
Right. Yeah, the deficit's a problem. And I think we have to reform our mandatory spending programs, which is 2/3 of spending. As big as this bill is, as you know, the $1.3 trillion only represents 25% to 1/3 of federal spending. The other 2/3 we don't vote on. And that's why I've called for a vote on the floor of the House for a balanced budget amendment. And I hope to have that before tax day in April. That's my objective. Because we have to get our House in fiscal order, and we do that through reforming our mandatory spending programs. The time for Mr. Trump to have negotiated harder was back when this deal was agreed to between the White House, the Senate, and the House a month ago. And I believe that Speaker Ryan's done the best he can with the bad hand that's been dealt by not having all the appropriations bills passed in the Senate and not having 60 votes in the Senate.
I'm going to venture that you read War and Peace. I don't think you read it twice. You would have had to read it twice in order to read all 2,300 pages in this bill. So my questions for you are, is it fair? Do lawmakers have enough time to go through this?
Well, 2 points. One, we passed all 15 of our appropriations bills before September 30th. That was the base text for this bill. So much of what's in this 2,000 pages was approved by regular order in the House. But no, we didn't have enough time to study the bill like we should. And again, I fought the process of the House and Senate not having a good, defensible appropriations process that gets done on time. That's what we need. And President Trump can help there by demanding that the Senate next year pass a budget and pass the appropriations bills on time.
What happens in the Senate in the next few hours? Does the government shut down 12:01 a.m. Saturday morning?
I don't believe so, Lauren. I think the Senate will concur and send this measure to President Trump. Why? Because this was the big picture deal that Mr. Trump and Senate and House leaders negotiated about a month ago. So I think we will avoid a government shutdown.
All right, but it's going to be a close call because when
it will be. It's always a close call. It's Washington.
But President Trump was elected to change the way Washington does business. I guess it's a lot harder than he thought.
Well, he's hard at it, and we want him to change it. And the first thing we can do is honor our troops and fund them in the right way. And secondly, change this appropriation and budget process and get it working for the American people.
All right, Congressman Hill, thank you
Thanks,
so much
Lauren.
for your time.